Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Happy Friday, everyone. We made it. And we have got TV host, writer, and one of my favorite people on earth, Teddy Wilson, is back with us today.
Stop it, don't stop it.
We're always delighted to see you.
Thank you.
We're going to dive in with this topic, which is that Madonna, she performed a surprise stand-up comedy set at the Comedy Cellar in New York last weekend. I know. She was there with her bestie, Amy Schumer, and the Sun newspaper reported that everyone was shocked to see the Material Girl on stage. She did get laughs every time she dropped an F-bomb, but she, I think, was a little rough overall. But what do we think of this move? Madonna entering the comedy scene.
Yes!
Oh, I love this! Right? It's kind of split. I personally find it a little bit cringe because of the hubris. There's a lot of hubris involved in getting up on a stage like that and thinking because you're someone notable, that you will just grab the crowd and be funny when it takes comics years and years to hone their craft. It's hubristic, and there's something about that makes me cringe.
See, and I'm on the other end. I love this. I love this. And first of all, let me just say, do I think Madonna's funny? Not exactly. Do I think Dave Chappelle should be worried? No. But I love the fact that at 66, mother of 6, she's done everything. She's toured the world. She's won every award. That she's still willing, first of all, she's still a creative, and she's still willing to put herself out there when she knows she's not good at something. And I think it would have been...
Don't we want people to do that less and less? That's what we keep telling kids. You can be anything.
No.
You can be a superstar. You can be a YouTube star.
The comedy bar...
My parents told me I was going to be an NBA player.
The comedy bar...
That didn't work out.
No, but that's a damn lie. But the comedy bar is where you start out. She's not... She didn't go to Netflix. She didn't go to Netflix and say, I'm Madonna, give me a special. She went to places where everybody starts off at those small clubs, and she's working her way up.
If I were
we
a comic...
should be applauding her fearlessness.
If I were a comic in that audience, and so Madonna gets a shot at this, even though I've been, busting my you-know-what for years.
You can get a shot.
But she didn't get laughs, so that's justice. She didn't get laughs.
That's a good point.
And you have, I feel like, you've never done stand-up comedy, but you've been in the comedy world.
Yeah, I don't have any courage. That's something about me. So I've never had the courage to get up and perform, but when I was working in politics at the end, and even my first years in TV, I used to produce and promote live comedy showcases around Toronto.
And he's very funny, naturally.
Get out of here.
Very, very funny.
Thank you. You're too good to me. And I know you have comics on the show a lot, so you have a little bit of an insight into their craft as well. And you're absolutely right. It takes years because comedy, like if you play sports, you can do scrimmages with people, and that's kind of like a game, but not quite. If you play in a band, I played in a lot of bands. Jamming is not the same as playing a show, but almost there. But stand-up comedy, you cannot practice unless you're in front of a crowd. It doesn't work alone in your room or in front of a couple buddies. You have to fail over and over and over again. So I love that she tried it, and I don't see it as hubris. I see it as like joie de vivre and trying something new, kind of like your funny buddy getting up there, but not unlike your funny buddy who tries stand-up comedy for the first time. She bombed, and that's justice, and I hope that doesn't dissuade her, because I'd like to go see Madonna do stand-up, but in 5 years after she practices every week.
Do you know what maybe I'm associating it with is the celebrity who doesn't eat but gets a cooking show. The celebrity who can't write but gets a 3-book deal.
But she's
like there's something about me, it's just like eat the rich. Like, darn you, Madonna, I won't think. It's like,
if she was trying to sell out Madison Square Garden, then I'd understand.
I'm just explaining my hothead reaction to this, you guys.
She's starting at the bottom.
Sit down.
Listen, and you know what, Amy Schumer...
Do some work!
Amy Schumer actually said something on Howard Stern. She said this she's like, she has something in her that's like interested in stand-up, and she knows that, like anything else, you have to work really hard at it.
So she's her as a possibility. It is the most vulnerable. I dated a comedian.
Oh yeah.
No, I feel like
I'm being
you're
like
seeing it through a lens of you make you right.
Proletariat right now. Like, sorry.
I think the thing is if you like Madonna, maybe you would see it through the lens of like she's doing something extraordinarily vulnerable.
Yes.
There is
So
no
vulnerable.
other type of craft where like literally this is hard, but being yourself and trying to make people laugh like on command.
With no commercial breaks, no one to throw to.
Nothing.
And you got to fail over and over again in front of people. I kind of like that her best friend Amy was like, she wasn't very funny.
It could be a really good ego level check for her because
that's true.
her head is so big.
Yeah.
I think imposter syndrome is a wonderful thing. Moving on. Do you ever get the urge to give the finger to anyone driving a Tesla Cybertruck? So, a writer for Business Insider says she owns one of these. Yeah, she owns one of these Starship poopers, as they're called on the internet, and she's been flipped the bird more times than she can count. She thinks it's completely unfair. So, do we sympathize with her? What do we think?
Teddy, what do you think?
Yes, I sympathize with her. This lady just wanted a Cybertruck and she's driving it and you're giving her the finger. Have some class. And also, I love Cybertrucks.
No.
I do.
What do you love about
That's me in Pittsburgh the first time I saw one.
Teddy!
Last summer, I was fascinated by it, and I gotta say, I'm not a car guy at all. I don't care about cars or trucks, but it looks like it's from the future, and I'm a sci-fi fan. And when I see something like that, I just try to channel my inner child. I don't think about Elon Musk. I don't think about somebody ostentatiously displaying their obscene wealth. I just try to channel my inner kid, which is like, that's cool.
Well, it's
And
funny you
someone
say
made
that.
that.
That's cool.
It's funny you say that because I was walking around with my son the other day and we saw one, and immediately he was like so jazzed about it. But it does look like a child's drawing come to life. Does it not?
Like an unfinished project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Andrea, I want to know from you, because for me, my first thought was if I was on the single scene and somebody came up, they drove up and they pulled up in this car. You're in. I'm out. Are you going to
Would you
do
date someone in this?
Yeah, listen, no,
What are you
no.
thinking?
I think a car, I for sure will say, in the dating world, a car can definitely turn me off of a guy.
Really?
And I'm not going to mention any manufacturers because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and start naming cars and have people in the audience go, I drive that car. I'm not going to do that, but I'll say there are 3 things that a guy can have on his car that are a definite turn off. Straight pipes, burble tunes, and the underglow. I can tell that most people are like, what?
I don't know what any of that is.
So the straight pipe. Okay, when the manufacturers make a car, they put a muffler on it so that they muffle the sound. So what the guys do, they take the muffler off and they put off and they put a straight pipe. So you know that sound here? That's what it makes. That guy, I have nothing to say to that guy.
Yeah.
Now the burble tune, you've probably been walking down the street and all of a sudden heard a car just go bop, like a fart. That is a burble tune. That guy and I, we have nothing in common. And the underglow is when you at night when you see the guy who has the fluorescent lights underneath his car.
Yeah.
That guy can pick rocks.
How about the bull?
I got nothing to say
How
to
about
him
the
either.
guy with the bull's testicles?
See,
I'm not on that guy.
That kind of makes me laugh. Like, I'm totally with you.
I could cut that off.
We
could get rid of that.
But don't
you can neuter that.
I could neuter that.
Doesn't it sometimes work in the favor of the person? Like a good bumper sticker, the ones that I'm thinking of, I can't say on a daytime television show, but they make me laugh out loud. And I'm like, I'd like to have a beer with you.
Yes.
You are funny, but there are other bumper stickers and paraphernalia where you want to run away because you're very afraid of said person.
You just reminded me, there's a bumper sticker I just saw. Everybody right now, because you know with everything with Elon, there are a lot of Tesla drivers who are like, there's a bumper sticker that says, I bought this before I knew that Elon is crazy. And that bumper sticker,
That's what this woman should do.
She needs that.
sticker I'm in favor
The fact
of.
that she wrote an op-ed being like, oh, everyone feels sorry for me for this $140,000
I feel bad
vehicle.
for her.
She
She's just a
did.
person out in the world and she's getting flipped the bird? Don't do that.
I agree, but
Teddy has a point.
writing the op-ed.
Right, okay.
As a society, unfortunately, human beings, when you say, please don't pick on me, look how sad I am, oh my God.
I feel bad for you right now.
Human beings generally would be like, oh, don't pick on you.
Right.
Okay, guess what we're going to do?
It's on.
It's not
You know
good.
what? I'm on Teddy's side with this because you know what? As a woman, we're already always nervous and about the dangers that are lurking around every corner. And the idea that you've made a choice in your car purchase, and now people are flipping you the bird, and you're unsure if someone's going to attack you and say something because now they think that you vote a certain way.
Right.
That I can't stand behind that. Even though I do hate that car.
Get the bumper sticker.
Get the bumper
That's what
sticker.
she needs to do.
You know what she said?
Or
She
trade
said
it in and get a better car.
Yeah,
How about that?
she said she was treating herself to this to alleviate stress, but here's the thing where I disagree with her is, can you imagine the stress of driving a Cybertruck around the city? I'd crash it in 5 minutes because it's the size of a house.
Yeah.
And imagine you got hit by a Cybertruck with another car, it would just tear through you right away.
Yeah, she's a psychologist. Would you have predicted that?
No.
A psychologist is a great
I'm
point.
not telling her my problem. If you've ever been turned on by a hot couple, you might be a symbiosexual. I think I said that correctly. A recent study in the archives of sexual behavior defined this as being attracted to the dynamic energy between 2 or more people in a relationship. So I know you guys are already on at that. I love you guys so much. Are any of you 3 symbiosexual?
Well, I don't think I am, but I find this fascinating from an academic point of view.
Okay, break it down.
I like the idea of being like attracted attracted to a couple's dynamic, their vibe together, as opposed to just like their faces or their booties or whatever people are into.
Oh my God.
Whatever people are into.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like being attracted to a dynamic.
Like
I
an
think
energy.
Yeah, like an energy. I think it's really cool because couples are all unique. I love that. I love the idea of two people together, being together for a while and like having that kind of almost like bleed off them and sensing that. If you're gonna try to insinuate yourself into that relationship, though, I would be a little bit careful because to me, a relationship, it's like a good dish. It's like a good recipe. Like it's delicious for a reason. And if you show up like an unwelcome spice, being like, "Hey, I'm paprika. Let me in." You're gonna ruin the taste of the dish.
It's true. It's true.
So I like it in theory, but I just
But
be a
maybe
little,
not in practice.
Yeah,
It
maybe
might
not,
be.
or whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Whatever you're
I mean,
into.
I usually appreciate these obscure sexual identities because I feel like it causes us to think about the nuances of sexuality. Having said that, this one I kind of am like gonna crap on.
Oh,
because
no,
according
you
to
don't
this
like this.
article, well, it all came from one researcher who actually didn't really talk to any people, just looked at sort of historical data and then some other obscure data. And even in the article it says, quote, "At this point, it's unlikely that anyone self-identifies as a symbiosexual. So why are we trying to make this a thing, okay?"
Right.
Yeah.
Having said that, I
Shoddy
think...
research, by the way.
Shoddy
Didn't
research.
talk to anybody.
And having said that, I think I might be one.
Oh,
One
yeah?
person.
I let you shoot it down.
Well,
You're like,
let
but
me
I
just
have
say,
one.
I think there is one couple that and I don't think I'm alone on this, where I've had this kind of feeling about their energy. And this is a couple who's no longer together. They are Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa. I was obsessed for a while of just thinking about like what must they talk about? What's their dynamic like? I find them both very hot, very interesting. Having said that, I also wanted this has come up too fast. I want to talk about the opposite of this because I think I have that sexual orientation as well, which is being completely turned off by couples' sexual dynamic. Has this ever happened to you? Like Megan Fox and whatever. Turn
Machine
off.
Gun Kelly.
What,
Oh, I
Machine
like
Gun
that
Kelly.
together.
You?
Ben
Ben and
Affleck
Jen.
and J-Lo. Totally
Travis
turned off.
and Taylor?
I'm turned off by all three of these people's dynamic.
Really?
It gives me like I'm where I go from aroused. I'm the opposite of that.
Right.
What do you call
So
that?
I have
Unaroused.
some questions. So the symbiosexual.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Does it mean?
Kinda.
Does it mean you have to be polyamorous as well?
That's what they say in this article, this very strange article. They imply that it is you not only just finding this couple's dynamic attractive,
But
you
you wanna
see yourself
participate.
as
You
part
want to
of
get
it.
in there.
Then I think I'm more like you, where I see and admire couples, particularly older couples, that are so well dressed and they're holding hands and talking and laughing. And I'm like, I don't want to have sex with you, but I want to be you down the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, I'm the opposite. There's nothing more of a killer than a married man. Like honestly, like if I see a man out there and he looks well put together, the first thing I check is whose team is he playing on, and if he's playing on my team, I'm like, okay. And then if I notice that his nails are clipped and his toenails are clipped and he's got lip balm on, I'm like, there's a woman behind this. There's no way he put himself together this way. And I'm a sexist. I'll call myself. I'm a sexist. When I see a couple that looks good together, I'm like, she made that happen. And I know it's probably not always the truth, but that's how I feel about it, and you just have to deal with it. That's how I feel about it. So I'm not turned on by the couple, but when I see a man who's put together, I'm like, you're good because your wife put all the paprika. Your wife put all the paprika in this relationship.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Thank you for using the medical term for female arousal, by the way, Lady B.
Yes, Lady B, baby.
Lady B.
Okay, next topic. Reese Witherspoon told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show that it's healthy to embarrass your kids. That way, they'll grow up with a good sense of humor. So, do you agree, or does she have cruel intentions? You want to
Embarrass your kids. Interesting. I don't want to be embarrassing to Jaya, but I definitely feel like I'm starting to get more and more the cringe, like they'll say that. But listen, it's a rite of passage. Like even The Rock, his kids, I'm sure, are gonna think he's a loser at some point. Madonna's kids definitely find her cringe after this whole comedy thing.
Yeah.
Unquestionably.
Not
funny. The bigger trick, I think, is eventually to embarrass your parents. Has anyone done that? Be embarrassing towards your parents?
That's my whole teen years.
Right?
You embarrass your parents?
Yeah.
I just remember one time my mom, I was an adult, I was in my 20s, and I decided to walk her to church, and I was wearing like kind of an overcoat.
What did you do?
I just I don't know why, I was just starting to do a weird dance on the way in. For no reason at all. To church.
Yeah.
And she
Just to
eventually was
annoy
just
her.
like, you know what? You can just wait right here and I'm going to go in by myself. Bye. And I was like, it felt really good to embarrass her. That's all.
Was this a week ago?
No, this was not a week
Okay,
ago.
all right.
No.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I've embarrassed my parents when I was a teenager, for sure. I think kind of being embarrassed by your parents is a bit of a rite of passage. I will say, though, like some kids, especially if they have a bit of anxiety, you got to be a bit careful.
Yeah.
I think you would want them to feel in on the joke. But I was never embarrassed as a kid because when I was like 11 years old, I was a child actor on a show called You Can't Do That on Television. Way back in the day. Stop it. Thank you. It was like a kid's sketch show, but as part of the show, it was like the kids doing embarrassing things, and especially the boys. You were always pretending to throw up or pretending to fart or all this stuff, right? And they found over the years that on a big TV set, especially around the other female cast members, boys would get very embarrassed. So as part of our training, they would have the boys do Scottish country dancing classes in kilts with the female cast members around you pointing and laughing as like a way to break down your embarrassment. You know, in the military, they like break you down to build you back up. They did this because they found that this helped the boys later when they were on the show cope with being kind of snickered at by their castmates and stuff. So as a result, when I got to like age 13, I was bulletproof.
Yeah.
I can't be embarrassed.
I cannot be embarrassed.
So you
to
were
this
in
day.
it and you knew what they were
That's a
trying to do, and it
brilliant
still worked.
They told us.
I think everybody needs this
They
boot
told
camp,
us.
right?
That's
Yeah.
a smart idea.
Incredible.
And the instructor was strict, and we were in like these frilly shirts and like kilts, and the girls were all snickering, and we're like, this is awful. And if we laughed, the teacher got mad, but it worked. I cannot be embarrassed.
That's a brilliant
Did
idea.
you guys embarrass your...
Listen, my parents embarrassed me, but not in their like being goofy. My parents embarrassed me in a way that, 7 years ago when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, we had something called landlines in the house. And that was like, the phones with the rotary. And they were in communal places like the kitchen or the living room. And so, when you're a teenager and you're trying to talk to some boy and, you can always hear when somebody picks up the other phone in another room. And my mother would always, I could be talking to anybody else, but if I'm talking to a boy that I like, my mother would instinctively just pick up the phone and I'd be like, stop talking. I can hear it. Just stop talking. My mother's like, you've been on the phone for 4 hours. Who are you talking to? And I'd be like, and I'm like, nobody, Mom. I'm talking to nobody. And when are you gonna throw the garbage? I asked you to do that hours ago. And you just lying down talking on the phone. Some of us need to use the phone. And I'd be like, oh my, that happened so many times. And now,
So she wasn't trying to embarrass you.
she was just being herself.
But that happened? Oh my God.
Kids today will never know that because they've all got a cell phone. You guys have no idea how lucky you are.
I think a little bit of embarrassment is good. My dad used to be goofy on purpose. Like he would try to make us laugh, doing funny walks through a parking lot, yelling silly words.
I done it with them, yeah.
Yes, silly words, like just yelling fart in a mall and stuff like that.
Classic.
And I think I'm kind of grateful for it because I was never embarrassed even when I got older. And as a result, I don't think I have many inhibitions. Like, I'm a cheap laugh. Like, I'll do anything for a laugh.
You are a cheap laugh.
I am such a cheap laugh.
You're the best to have
Oh
around.
my God, exactly.
You're the best. Madonna could have used you.
Madonna needs you at the comedy
I
bar.
truly would have.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyways.
goodness.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.